Hi, I'm Brenda Quintana coming to you from the Beehive. A couple of weeks ago, someone asked me if I could do a video on different card sizes. So today I'm going to show you the most popular size cards I use in my stamping and how to cut them. The first type of card is what Stampin' Up! Calls a standard card, and it is the most popular size card that stampers use. And the card front on this one measures 5.5 by 4.25 inches. This card is also called an A2 card. And for this card, we use medium-sized envelopes, and they can they're available in crumb cake, very vanilla, whisper white, and clear. Stampin' Up! Images are really scaled to fit this size card the best, and stampers use these cards for all different types of purposes. To make my card bases, I use a Stampin' Trimmer. And the Stampin' Trimmer comes both with a cutting blade and a scoring blade. And so I don't get the two of them confused, I've written score on the scoring blade and cut on the cutting blade with a Sharpie marker. So to cut a standard size card base, I'll start off with a sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock, and I'm going to put the long side, the 11-inch side, up here at the top, and I'm going to go ahead and line that up with the 5.5-inch mark. The 5.5-inch mark is half of 11. So I'll use my cutting blade to cut the two pieces in half. And then I'll need one of these pieces, and I'm going to line this one up with the 4.25-inch mark. And then I'm going to use my scoring blade to score it. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has scored the card in half. So that is the standard side card base. And then you fold it in half along the score line, and you'll take your bone folder and you'll smooth out that edge. And there you go. This is a standard size card base that fits into a medium envelope. Another popular card that stampers use is called a note card. This card measures 5 inches by 3.5 inches, and it's also called an A1 card. This card is actually available pre-cut and pre-scored with envelopes in the catalog, and you can find them in crumb cake and whisper white. I like to use note cards as thank you cards, but you can use them for other purposes too. To make a note card, you can also start with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and I'll put my 11-inch side up at the top, or the long side, and this time I'm going to align my paper with the 5-inch mark. And I'll go ahead and cut that. And then I'm going to turn my cardstock 90 degrees, and I'm going to line it up with the 7-inch mark. Well, the 7-inch mark is right off of my cutter, so we have this extra piece that we can flip out like this. And there's a little leg right here that flips down for support. And so I'm just gonna line up my cardstock with the 7-inch mark, and then I'm going to cut this way, and I'm going to bring my cutting blade down to the bottom so I don't accidentally cut, and then I'm going to line up my 7-inch side up with the top, and I'm going to put it on the 3.5-inch mark, and I'm going to score it. So then we fold this in half, and again we use our bone folder. And this is a note card. The third type of card that stampers make is called a mini card. And this type of card measures 3 inches by 3 inches. And for these cards, we use square envelopes in the catalog, and they are only available in whisper white. These cards cannot be mailed by US Post, so I would use them on a gift or maybe if you're sending flowers. So to make a mini card, again, you can take an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of cardstock, and this time I'm going to line it up with the 3-inch mark, and then I'm going to cut that, and then I'm going to turn it so one of the long sides is up at the top, and I'm going to line this one up with my 6-inch mark. And I don't want to use my scoring blade, I want to use my cutting blade, which is down here. So I'm going to cut up this way. And then this little piece I can put aside. I'm going to move my cutting blade down here so I don't accidentally cut instead of score. And then I'm going to take my 6-inch side here. I'm going to line it up with the 3-inch mark. And I'm just going to go ahead and score. And then you can fold your mini card in half and use your bone folder to smooth the edge. And there you go, a 3 by 3 mini card. The last type of card that I use, I call a large card. And this card front measures 8.5 by 5.5 inches. This card's also called an A9 card or a half fold card. And we don't have any envelopes in the catalog for this card, but you can make an envelope for this one using the envelope punch board. This card is great if you're giving a card as a group and you need lots of space for people to write messages in. To make a large card, you'll also need a piece of cardstock that is 8.5 by 11. And again, I'm going to have my 11-inch side up at the top to start. And this one I don't need to cut at all. I'm just going to line it up with the 5.5-inch mark. And right here I have my scoring blade up at the top and the cutting blade all the way off my camera, I guess. And I'm just going to go ahead and score this. So you just fold your card like so. And if you like, you can also score using our scoring board. But when you're first starting out making cards, you may only have a stamping trimmer, and it's great because it comes already with a scoring blade and a cutting blade, so you'll be able to do both things on this one trimmer. So finally, I'm just going to show you quickly how to make this card. Once you know how to make it in the standard size, you'll be able to make it in all the other sizes too. So for this card, I used the Watercolor Wings stamp set and the Sassy Salutations stamp set. And we are also using two different ink colors, Mint Macaroon and Lost Lagoon. So I'm going to start off with Mint Macaroon, and I'm going to take the bold butterfly, this one right here, and I'm going to ink it up in my lighter color, which is Mint Macaroon. And with these stamp pads, you don't want to press too hard. I'm just kind of going tap, tap, tap. And I'm going to stamp it on an angle kind of near, like in the top half of my card. And then I'm going to, I can put this one aside. I'm going to open up my Lost Lagoon. And then I'm going to take this part of the butterfly. It has some of the detail of the butterfly. I'm going to ink this one up in Lost Lagoon. Okay, and then I'm going to take, I need the body of the butterfly and the antenna, and I'm going to take the body and ink it up in Lost Lagoon, and I'm just going to kind of center it. You can see on the body here there's a little bit of an indent kind of halfway down, and I'm going to aim that for where this butterfly piece narrows. And I'm going to just take a moment, make sure it's centered, and then stamp it. And then I'm going to take my antenna. And when you have a little stamp like this, you're going to want to make sure you don't press too hard because there's very, very little stamping surface. And if you press this right into the ink pad, you're going to have an inky mess. So I'm just tapping very, very lightly. And I'm going to aim the V, the bottom of the V, right to the top of the head. It's actually going to almost look like it's going to overlap. And then it attaches very nicely. And then to create this cute little banner down here on the bottom, I've cut a piece of cardstock to 3 3/4 inches by 1.5 inches. And we have this great new punch called the banner triple punch. And you unlock your punches down here on the bottom. And I'm going to, there's kind of 3 tiers that you can punch. And this one will kind of fit in the middle tier, and it just slides in on that middle tier. Make sure it goes all the way to the end, and then I'm going to punch it. And it creates this cute little V, and then I'll be able to stamp on that. So I'm going to use my Lost Lagoon. And I'm going to use my Happy Birthday from the Sassy Salutations stamp set. So I'm just going to go ahead and ink that up. Make sure I have it going the right way. And I'm going to center it and stamp right down like that. And so to make this pop a little bit, I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals. These are little foam dots, and I'm just going to pop probably about 4 of these on my little banner, and then just take these pieces off, and I'm going to just stick it down here like that. And that's what I did with all of the other cards. Let me move this out of the way. I made a banner for this card, and I made a little banner for my thank you card. This one's a little bit narrower. I only made an inch banner. And for my little mini card, I didn't use a banner at all. It was a little too small, I felt, for a banner. So there you go. That's how you create the different size cards that we use. All the supplies you'll need to make these cards are available for purchase on my blog. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you have suggestions for any other tutorials you would like me to do, just leave a note in my comments section below. Bye for now.